What's going on, everybody? My name is Jake, and welcome to a bit of a hybrid show. We're going to be going over a quick recap of UFC Seattle, Pfeiffer and Adesanya, and then I'm going to do my early picks for UFC Vegas 115. Reason being is because I've been kind of busy. The schedule that I usually try to follow when I upload and record just hasn't been able to, follow that. I was out of town for the weekend, so I'm going to do some quick recaps, basically just some of the highlights of UFC Seattle. Really exciting card. Unfortunately for me on the betting side, it was my worst card of the year, as you'll see on the update ROI. So, obviously still having a good year. After I was playing with a lot of house money and winning one house money with UFC London, I'm just going to say it's the betting gods comeuppance on me. I also, since I was up so much after UFC London, you'll hear all these gambling experts and nerds say to scale your bankroll, scale your unit sizes. So for UFC Seattle, I was playing a little bit higher stakes than what I normally do. And naturally, when you when you go off of your usual system, it bites you in the ass. So unfortunately, worst card of the year for me. Just not really good reads on some of these fights on my end. I went 7-5-1 with the picks, which is fucking not good. So again, if you were watching and tailed any of mine, agreed with some of the stuff I was saying, apologize. Wasn't right this week. It happens. But yeah, we'll just take that one on the chin. And the UFC Vegas cards, it's me knocking on wood, have been really friendly to us so far this year. Vegas 113 and 114 were both very profitable. So hopefully we keep that trend up this week. It's kind of a weird card, but just a quick flash recap of UFC Seattle. Obviously, I won't have the time to go into the bets I had in depth like I usually do, but we'll still go over it real quick. So Alexia Tainera, I had her to win by finish. She dominated. Bruna Brasil sucks. She needs cut. That's really all you need to say about that fight. Hopefully Tainera, I don't know who you match her up with, but honestly, get her into the top 10, maybe fringe top 5. And just go from there. Ricky Simone and Adrian Yanez. I don't know how the fuck this was not a decision for Yanez. I think he got robbed here. Especially, that last round. If the fight lasted another 5 seconds, it would have been a TKO win. So, we had the spread on Yanez. That obviously hit. And I thought my bet would void because I had Simone KO, TKO, or decision. But if I had taken a money line, so not a specific method of victory, it would have voided. But in this case, since draw is not in there, it actually counted as a loss. So I was a little disappointed on that. But either way, had the Yanez spread. I think he got robbed. I think anyone logically watching that fight would tell you the same. Really weird result. Navajo Sterling gets his first knockout. I should have absolutely hammered that glitch line. I should have at one point, he was trying to put in a standing guillotine. I was like, bro, do not. But he gets the knockout. Hindsight 2020, but I should have thrown a lot more on that line at minus 135 KO TKO decision. Because like I said, it rose up to minus 600. So I don't know what happened at DraftKings that line was skewed like that. But yeah, he made it look fairly easy. I think he's pretty good. The call out of Ion Cutelaba. Honestly, I don't know who I would take in that fight. That's pretty interesting. But he's pretty good. I like Navajo Sterling and Bruno Lopez. Yeah, he's pretty bad. Casey O'Neill knocking out Gabriel Fernandez was not on my bingo card. We had Fernandez money line. Obviously, that didn't hit. She got knocked out in the first round. But we had the O'Neill spread, so really good there. She looked amazing. The long layoff, clearly, she was putting in the work to improve. Easy work of Gabriel Fernandez. This was really impressive from Casey O'Neill. Tyrell Fortune, Marcin Tybura, bro. Bruce Buffer teased me. I had the bonus bet decision. Tybura 5-1. But when he read the scorecards and when he said 37-27, I was like, oh, it's Tyrell Fortune. No doubt about it. When he said Tybura, I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. I thought I was the major beneficiary of a gigantic robbery. But then it comes back in like, how does that even happen, first off? But Tyrell Fortune, rightfully so, gets his win. I had him by knockout. Obviously, that didn't happen. Maybe I should have just did KO, TKO, or decision. Basically made his money line minus 105. So basically pick 'em odds there. Is what it is. Lance Gibson, Chase Hooper. I'm lumping Chase Hooper and Daniel Zellhuber in the same category now. like industry plants, not actually good. Just they're getting smoked by these veterans. Lance Gibson Jr., this is a huge win for him, and Chase Hooper. I was more and more confident in him as the week went on, and goddamn, that was a terrible read for me. Yeah, that cost me some. I should have been smart and just played the fight to not go the distance, seeing how Hooper got knocked out in the first round. I mean, when he gets hit, his reactions to getting hit are not good. Terrible body language, not a good chin. And then if it was going to go to the ground, it was going to be heavy favor for Chase Hooper. So I should just play this fight not to go the distance. But it is what it is. Big win for Lance Gibson. And put Chase Hooper and Daniel Zellhuber in the cage together, and we can have the two shit former prospect industry plants go at it. So Tofik Musayev and Ignacio Bahamondes. I'm going to sound like a broken record like everyone else in this space. Musayev's a fucking cheat. Cage grab that pretty much saved his ass in the second round after he was almost put out on the feet. Grabs the cage, uses the leverage to find his way on top, headbutts Bahamondes, and it also looked like at the end he was like biting. Obviously, I don't think it happened, but when Bahamondes was trying to sink in the rear naked choke in the third round, it looked like he was like gnawing on his arm. But this guy's a fucking cheat. Bahamondes is my third most confident pick, so that one really hurt. The Hooper and Bahamondes fights really hurt the prelims for me. But fuck Tofik Musayev. I hope someone goes in there and knocks his ass out. Bahamondes is a fucking warrior. I'm honestly surprised the cut didn't stop the fight and they kept him going. He just, yeah. It was a entertaining fight, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, it sucks seeing a guy win by like blatantly cheating like that. And I'm not even, obviously I'm a little bit biased having Bahamondes in my bets, but like, damn, all it takes is for you to have two working eyes to see that dude was cheating his ass off. But it is what it is. Can't change it. Terrence McKinney, 24-second knockout. I was hoping for a club and sub, but yeah, McKinney to win in under 1.5 rounds. Easy money. Yeah, I mean, under 1.5, even if as chalk as it is, and Terrence McKinney parlay pieces, under 1.5 rounds, they've just been free money recently. Usually Belgaru, this was like, I don't want to like gloat and say it's my best read because I feel like he was a popular underdog pick, but absolutely pieces up Mansour Abdul Malik. I had him by decision at plus 360 and freaking needed another minute and 20 seconds to go, but I mean, he absolutely dominated this fight. Abdul Malik had nothing for him. Like I said, I was waiting for a spot to fade Mansour Abdul Malik, and this was the one. Belgaru, this dude is going to be a problem. I would honestly give him a top 15 fight next. I think he's really going to shoot up the rankings this year. Larian Douglas knocks out Julian Erosa. Cash on all fronts here, under 1.5 rounds. Douglas by knockout. Erosa just was there to be hit, and Douglas put him out. Easy win for him in his UFC debut. And yeah, Julian Erosa might be retirement time, but we'll see. Because his chin is clearly gone. Michael Chiesa submits. Bro, this looked fixed, dude. Like, Nico Price just, like, rolled his way into the rear naked choke. Chiesa, he taps quickly. Chiesa, easy money in his retirement fight. Submission. Cashed on that. Chiesa by sub. That was easy. And then he gets his, send-off package. Good for him, I guess. And they both retire, so... Scariest knockout. I mean, this card was awesome. Ton of finishes. This was a fucking scary one. Macy Barber. I mean, I've seen some people. There's a guy that I watch that I've been losing some respect for. Like when I watch some of these guys in the MMA content space, he was trying to say Macy Barber was basically putting on an act. I mean, say what you want, but like that was a fucking scary finish. Props to Alexa Grasso for sitting there, waiting for her to be okay, waiting for her to wake up. Macy Barber posted on social media she's okay, but I was really confident Macy Barber in this one, and for whatever reason, she decided to box with Alexa Grasso and got put out. They scored it as a knockout. She would have been submitted. I mean, I forget who the ref was, but amazing job to step in almost immediately. Right when she cinched in the choke, he stepped in immediately. KO for Grasso. She is still one of them ones. I was fading her. She looked like shit her last 2 fights. And I was high on Barber, 27 years old, on a good streak. But I'm wondering if like a knockout like this maybe, could kind of coincide with some of the health issues he's had just because of how scary it was. But either way, I'm glad she's okay. Unfortunately, we lost in all fronts here, but more important thing is that Macy Barber's okay. And anyone saying that she's faking it mostly because they're salty that they lost their bets is just a piece of shit, quite honestly. Then the main event, Israel Adesanya looked so good in round 1. I don't know what he was doing. Is it poor fight IQ now at this point in his career? Decides to brawl, gets taken down, flattened out, and Pyfer gets the finish. I mean, I had the Pyfer knockout at 3-1, but I was really on Adesanya. I thought he would style on him after the first round. I was like, I'm going to be totally right on this. And then I don't know if it's lack of quick reflexes or lack as much as when he was in his prime. Obviously, he's not going to be as fast as when he was in his prime, but I just don't get it, man. I don't know what you do with him now. Pyfer, give him Cal Barajo or something like that. Maybe even Fluffy Hernandez, who knows? But, I wasn't as high on him. I'm really not still. I mean, I know he won by knockout, but I'm attributing this more to Israel Adesanya just not being smart in there than Pyfer, looking incredible. Like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, he gets to finish by far his biggest win of his career. And this downfall of his, he's been hard to watch. I know he's, kind of a weird guy with the anime, the dog shit, right? The city kickboxing zestiness, but I've always liked Izzy, so this sucks, man. 4 in a row, 3 of them by finish, just not a good look. But anyway, so yeah, recap. I didn't do good on UFC Seattle. I hope you guys did that are watching this, had a successful card, but if you didn't, if you're in the same boat as me, let's try to bounce back this week. So let's start to go over the early picks for UFC Fight Night, Vegas 115. Money Moicano and Chris Duncan. I'm going to run through some of these pretty quickly since we're doing a hybrid episode. There's multiple fights on here that are like giant favorites, and then there's a ton of pick'em fights. So some coin flips here and there, some low-level competition that, me, I'm going to find action on it regardless. So maybe I should call the hotline because of some of these. But anyway, Deone Barbosa and Melissa Gatto. I thought Deone Barbosa beat Karine Silva in their last fight. And I know Karine Silva is a little bit overrated, but Silva was just in there with Macy Barber. I know she lost. Melissa Gatto, long layoff. Honestly, coin flip. And I think Barbosa offers more in the striking department and maybe some submissions offered back potentially, but you could go either way with this one. I'm just going to go with my gut here and go Deone Barbosa. I think she's better than what her record would suggest. But as far as anything I'm going to bet on this fight down the line, it's going to be a money line because it's probably going to go off close to pick'em. Right now, Barbosa's like minus 140. Flip a coin, go with your gut with this one. My guts tell me Deone Barbosa, probably decision. Next fight is Azamat Bakoev and Tresean Gore. Bakoev coming off a loss to Yujiri Belgaru, who we just talked about. At the time, he was a huge favorite, but now that loss is aging like fine wine. Tresean Gore, not good, bro. I think Bakoev should run through him here. First round finish, honestly, I think is on the table. He's 5-1 for a reason. Maybe you could say that's a little bit wide considering the fact that he just lost as a ginormous favorite. So, maybe you're a little hesitant to buy into that. Obviously not much value on there. We'll see what his odds to win by finish are later in the week, but I think he makes this look easy. I still think Bakoev is a decent prospect. Certainly way better than Tresean Gore at this point. I mean, Tresean Gore got knocked out by Cody Brundage. Like, I know Cody Brundage can throw some hands, especially early on in the fights, but come on, man. Bakoev should make this look easy, but he was a massive favorite his last fight, and in MMA, there's always that puncher's chance. So I'm going to go Bakoev. Let's say he wins by finish in either the first or second round. Next fight, another coin flip. Haley Cowan and Alice Pereira. Alice Pereira made her UFC debut at 19, and she lost to Montse Rendon, who just got submitted by Bia Mesquita. Neither of these fighters I don't think are any good, but I'm going to go with Alice Pereira just because I think Haley Cowan at 34 years old, yes, she's fought the better competition, but she wasn't good to begin with, and how much better is she getting at this point in her career in between fights? My guess is not very much. Whereas Alice Pereira, yes, she had a stinker. I think she was a favorite. Maybe not like a considerable one, but like a pick'em or like close favorite with Montse Rendon. And she lost by split decision at 19 years old. I'm going to trust that she's making vast improvements, and there could have been some debut jitters, especially at that young of an age. I just think, if she can avoid getting taken down, the striking, isn't fundamentally good by any means, but definitely much higher finishing upside. And again, I'm just going to trust the much younger fighter here. Got that debut out of the way, as underwhelming as it was. I think she's going to have made some strides here, and this fight is basically a pick 'em right now. The odds might be moving, but I'm going to go Alice Pereira, probably decision. Next fight, man. There's two guys that I honestly forgot were in the UFC. Neither of them have. Darius Flowers has never won the UFC, and he's been on a layoff since 2024. Lando Venata hasn't fought since 2023. But for some reason, I'm like really confident in Lando Venata here. I don't know what it is. I just think he's much better all around. And yes, a long layoff, but I think he's going to be pumped up getting back in there. This is a guy that's, fought the likes of Tony Ferguson before. He's been in there with some really, really good competition, albeit he hasn't won many fights in the UFC, but I don't know. Something just in my gut is confident in Lando Venata here. It's probably going to be decision. Again, these are 12-7-2 on the side of Venata and 12-8-1. Ugly, ugly records. I mean, you got a combined record 24-15-2 here. But I don't know. Something's telling me Venata is going to look really good. I don't know what it is, but money line is like minus 240. If you got the stones or the gambling addiction to bet on a guy on a almost 3-year layoff at minus 240 as a parlay piece, go for it. I'm betting him by decision will probably be plus odds, so at least you get some plus money there. But I don't know what it is. I'm confident in Lando Venata. I really don't. I'm just following my gut here, but I think Venata gets it done by decision after a long layoff. I mean, he's 34, so he's like getting up there, but he's not like super, super old yet. So, maybe he could have a little resurgence here. I don't know, but that's one of those fights. Like I said, there's a couple in this card that are close. Pick 'em odds. You probably get some good value on stuff, but man, the quality of fighters, we got to be calling the hotline. I'm right there with you. But next fight is Alessandro Costa and Stuart Nickel. I think Costa makes this look easy. I think he runs through Stuart Nickel. I think he knocks him out. Costa obviously was a pretty sizable favorite in his last fight against Alden Correa. Lost, but since then, we've seen Alden Correa is legit. And Stuart Nickel, I just don't think this guy has anything in the striking department. And I think even if he does get the wrestling going, Costa's going to be the much better athlete here to get back on his feet. And we're just levels apart as far as the striking. So Costa is one of the bigger favorites on the card. I think that is warranted. I think he wins by knockout in round 2 or 3. And gets back on the winning track after his loss to Alden Correa. Next fight, we got another hotline fight here. Thomas Peterson, Peter Griffin Peterson, and Guilherme Pat. Peterson definitely is going to have the wrestling edge, and Guilherme Pat is, appearance-wise, this dude is jacked. He's a great athlete in there, but doesn't really have that sense of urgency. So I could see this getting drug into deep waters by Thomas Peterson, but, if he gets the wrestling going, but I think Thomas Peterson's kind of shit. I'm not going to lie. Guilherme Pat's not like he's this all-world prospect, but I do think as far as athleticism and striking, it's going to be levels on his side. Peterson just got knocked out by Vitor Petrino, which Vitor Petrino, don't get me wrong, would probably smoke Guilherme Pat, but I just don't think he's very good. I don't know. This is going to be one of those fights where either one of the fighters, one way or another, however you pick it, is going to make it look easy. If Guilherme Pat's able to stay on the feet, he's going to make this look easy. If Thomas Peterson gets it to the ground quickly, he's going to make this look easy. So my gut's telling me Guilherme Pat. I know that's not a very technical breakdown, but I'm not going to back Peter Griffin here. I'm sorry. I like Family Guy, but I can't do it. Give me Guillermo Pat. I'll say by knockout. Next fight, this is the main. Oh, excuse me. That's the featured prelim, really. Guillermo Pat and Peter Griffin. Okay. Main card opener, Jose Delano and Robert Uchala. Delano is, I think, one of the better prospects coming off Contender Series in a while. He's super seasoned. Again, I like seeing these Contender Series guys. I mean, Hetra Souza a couple cards ago that are not these, 6-0, 5-0 prospects, all finishes in the first round. Like Delano's been in there with good comp. He's been to decisions. He's seasoned. He's got the cage time. Robert Uchala isn't bad. I think these odds, could be a little bit closer, but I do think Delano is going to come in and be a prospect that quickly, gets some UFC success, gets into the rankings. I think Uchala is pretty tough, so I'm going to say Delano gets this done 30-27. I really just think he's better everywhere. And again, Ruchala's not terrible, and he's tough, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. But I really think Jose Delano is a prospect to have an eye on. Again, he's coming in here with a good amount of experience, not one of those, super green fighters that's never faced adversity. I think he wins this 30-27. I think he's like the fourth or fifth biggest favorite on the card. I'm pretty confident in him to get this one done in his debut. Next fight, Tommy McMillan going against Manalo Zucchini. He's fucking minus 1,400 in his UFC debut. This dude is like definition industry player. He trains with Sean O'Malley, Tim Welsh. He's fucking trying to do the look, except he's got dark hair instead of like the, neon pink stuff. Tatted up. Bro, this guy is so hittable. Like, dropped multiple times, almost subbed in his Contender Series fight. I'll give him credit. He came back. He showed toughness. Came back and won. But, bro, he's going to win this fight, and it's probably going to be in round one. I'm going to say he subs Manalo Zucchini here because Zucchini's shit. But this dude, Tommy McMillan, is going to get knocked out in the UFC. I'm telling you that right now. I mean, he would absolutely whoop my ass and kill me in 12 different ways, but I'm telling you right now, this dude is overrated as a prospect. I really don't think he's nearly as good as what these odds would make it seem like. There is a prospect on this card that is a gigantic favorite that I do think is actually be a problem, but Tommy McMillan, man, I think he subs him in round one, maybe TKO, but bro, he's at 145. I mean, I can't think of another name off the top of my head that's out of the rankings at 145, but he's at some point going to get knocked down in the UFC. I kind of said this about Marwan Rahiki. Rahiki, to me, would smoke Tommy McMillan, but Rahiki at some point is going to get knocked out with that striking defense. Tommy McMillan is there to be hit. It's not going to happen here, but eventually he's going to get dusted. But in this case, he's going to run through Manelo Zucchini. So give me Tommy McMillan, first round sub. Next fight, Rafael Estevam and Ethan Ewing. This is an interesting one. Ethan Ewing, has a lot of hype. Won on short notice against arguably one of the most hyped prospects last year, Malcolm Wellmaker. Although I always thought Wellmaker was a little bit overrated. Obviously, a really good striker, but that's all he's got is the striking. There's no wrestling there, and Ethan Ewing was able to be the much crisper boxing, and the grappling was clearly on his side. I'll give him credit. That's a huge win. And I think he was like a 4-5 to 1 underdog in that. And he went out there and beat Wellmaker. He made it look fairly easy by decision. So he's the favorite here. But I'm rolling with Rafael Estevam as an underdog. Coming up to bantamweight from flyweight. I mean, he was never making weight at flyweight. So I think this move was kind of inevitable. I just really rate his ground. I mean, this dude is strong. I think he's going to be able to take down Ethan Ewing. The problem I could see for Estevam is his cardio is not good. Later round 2, round 3 is there for Ethan Ewing. If he doesn't sub Ethan Ewing, which he's really not been much of a finisher, he's kind of more of a lay and pray position type guy. And, in these Apex cards, they do favor the damage. So Ethan Ewing, I don't know. I just think these odds are just some recency bias, really. And I know Estevam 14-0, but hasn't looked dominant. I just think he's going to be Much, much better grappler than Ethan Ewing here, be able to negate the striking. But I could see Ethan Ewing start to take this fight over late, maybe get a TKO or just accrue damage to get a split decision. But I'm going with Rafael Estevam. I don't really love it on an underdog shot, but I just think Ethan Ewing, not that he's overrated as a prospect, but his odds right here in this particular fight are overrated based off of that Wellmaker win. He could go out there and absolutely style on the feet, stuff the takedowns of Estevam and make me look stupid, but I'm going to go with Rafael Estevam as the underdog here to basically grapple fuck. Maybe submit Ethan Ewing, but I doubt it. 29-28 decision for Rafael Estevam. Next fight is, I talked about another prospect that's like minus almost 2,000, I think, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is like boxing, lower level PFL odds here. Abdul Rahman Yakiev versus Brandon Ribeiro. But, I mean, Ribeiro's won in the UFC. Dr. Nurgaze, that win is aging better. Nurgaze just beat a fraud, Rafael Tobias. So that win is aging better for Brandon Ribeiro. But and Yakiev's UFC win was over Rafael Sakura, who fucking sucks. I don't know if he's in the UFC anymore. But I think the question in this fight is, he's going to win in round one, but how? Does he do another club and sub, or does he knock out Brandon Ribeiro standing? So that's what's going to be interesting for me. Him to win in round one is probably going to be super chalk. So good luck to you finding the value here. I'll try to, but he should make this look absolutely easy. I do think, unlike Tommy McMillan, who's a massive prospect favorite here, I do think Yakiev is actually been a guy who gets to the rankings and really starts to make some noise at light heavyweight this year. I think he makes this look easy. The only question I have is, how does he do it? Club and sub or straight up knockout? We'll see. Co-main event is Virna Jandiroba versus Tabitha Ricci. Jandiroba opened as the underdog, but I think the line is starting to move to more of a pick'em. I'm going to go Jandiroba here because I like it in a 3-round fight. I think she'll really be able to get the wrestling and takedowns going early in the fight. Ricci, she's got good cardio and she's a good athlete, but I don't know. I know she just knocked out Amanda Hebos, but Hebos I don't think really has a great chin at all, especially later in her career. Jandiroba just fought for the title and was really, really close to Mackenzie Dern. I know Mackenzie Dern won that fight, so again, I don't like to give people flowers too much for losing, but I mean, coming off a title fight, I know she's getting up there in age, but I really favor her to just wrestle fuck Tabitha Ricci here. Probably not find a sub, but I just think she's going to be way stronger than Tabitha Ricci. This is another one of those fights where it could age really well for me or age poorly. If Ricci's able to keep this fight standing, she's going to win. But, she's the younger fighter, more of an upward trajectory, but I'm still going to stick with Jandiroba. I just think she's going to be too strong for Tabitha Ricci. And, coming off a title loss, we just saw Alexa Grasso do this. I know Alexa Grasso's most recent fight before Macy Barber wasn't a title fight, but was just in that title picture. Maybe takes a loss, or maybe it's her first fight after. People are down on her, and you got this up-and-coming fighter, and, shows that there's still levels to this. So I'm going to say Jandiroba wins by decision, but I could see this being very, very close. Not super confident in it, but I got her. I've already bet on this at plus 100, so, even money for me. I'm going to go Virna Jandiroba by decision. We'll see what her decision line is later this week, but yeah, I think she wins this one 29-28, maybe even a split decision, because again, if she's getting the takedowns but no damage, these Vegas judges seem to favor damage, which I'm all for. Could be split, could be a sweaty one, but I'm going to say Virna Jandiroba gets it done. Main event, Renato Moicano, Money Moicano, and Chris Duncan. I'm kind of split on this back and forth. Honestly, I really don't want to even take a side, but I'm going to go with Chris Duncan just because I think Renato Moicano is kind of, past that prime. The loss to Beneil Dariush, even though he dropped him in round one, if you can't finish Beneil Dariush, that was in 2025, you know, if you can't finish him in the big 2-5, let alone big 2-6, we'll see Quillen Salkiel. If he can't finish Beneil Dariush in the big 2026, maybe we need to pump the brakes there. Not that Dariush is bad, but it's just like, goddamn, he's so chinny right now. I know Moicano is not like he's not a striker. He's a grappler, submission artist, but I love Renato Moicano. I love the personality. And I still think, he's 36, so it's not like he's super old on a severe downward trajectory, but I don't know. Just something swaying me to Chris Duncan here. I think he's more in that prime, rising guy, weathered the Terrence McKinney storm and found the submission in his last fight. So as far as the competition, I mean, this is a quality of competition way on the side of Renato Moicano. Guy's been in main events, been in a title fight, albeit wasn't supposed to, but still fought, and it got finished in the first round. It is what it is. Then fought Beneil Dariush. He was supposed to fight Brian Ortega for this. If he was fighting Brian Ortega, I'd probably go Renato Moicano, but I just think Chris Duncan's going to be better on the feet, and I think he can hang in the wrestling and submission department with Renato Moicano. I'm definitely going to take this fight to not go the distance. We'll see what the odds are on for that. Maybe even just play this fight to end by submission. We'll see. I mean, I think Chris Duncan's better path to victory is, TKO, ground and pound, whatever it is. But, I mean, he can wrestle too. So I want to take Renato Moicano just because I like him, but my gut's telling me to go with Chris Duncan here. Later round finish, rounds 3 or 4, 5, whichever one. I'm going to say he gets it done, gets into the lightweight rankings with by far his biggest win of his career. And Renato Moicano, I hope they put on a good fight so maybe he gets a fight of the night bonus because, he needs his money, baby. But I'm going to say Chris Duncan gets it done by later round finish. But I could also see Renato Moicano getting a submission as well. So either way, I think this fight ends inside the distance, but I'm going to lean with Chris Duncan for the pick. So that'll do it. Like I said, hybrid video. Try to get this out either Tuesday or Wednesday. And then we'll have the official picks later in the week like always. So I hope you guys enjoyed kind of smashing a lot of content into one. But just over a half hour, so really not too bad timing-wise. But picks in order of most confident. I don't know off the top of my head how many fights are on this card, but we get through this one, and I know that I don't shit on the Vegas cards, the Apex ones, as a lot of people do, because usually they produce some of the most entertaining fights. Smaller cage, less noise and commentary. You can really hear the sounds of the fight. So I'm always looking forward to the Vegas cards. I've had success betting on them. So we'll see what happens. But next week we get that beautiful UFC 327 card. So hopefully this is a good one. And then we know for a fact the one after should be, but we'll see. But anyway, that'll do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time when we give our official predictions and bets for UFC Vegas 115. Goodbye.